So today I'm going to prove to you that what you're thinking about matters, and that not only what you're thinking about really matters, but that it's actually influencing and creating the life that you're currently living. So the very first thing that we're going to do here is I'm going to just prove to you, first of all, that your thoughts are energy and that you can physically feel the thoughts that you have inside of your body. So now, why does this matter? So I'm just going to explain this to you, first of all, why this really matters. So if you were thinking certain things inside of your head, what you're actually doing is you are drawing that energy from somewhere, and so typically this is somewhere physically inside of your body that you're taking this energy from to use as a thought. So your thought energy is then going out, but it is coming from somewhere inside of you. So this matters because if you have some type of, let's say, resentful or negative thought or something that is on a loop, you've got some type of thinking that is on a loop and it is stealing away your energy, what's going to happen eventually is your physical body is going to be affected by this. Now, the reason why is because, as I said, all of our thoughts, our energy is coming from some place inside of us. So I'm going to prove it to you right now. Okay, so this is what I do with my clients when I'm working with them. But first of all, I get them into a nice deep state so they're very aware. So you might be aware of some of the places that you're going to physically feel what we're about to do here in your body. But if you were in a private session, it's going to be more specific. Some people, only can feel it in a few places, but some people will get real specific and they'll tell me, like, I feel it in my right wrist, in my left finger, in my right ankle, and there might be several different places that just one thought energy form is felt in certain places inside their body. Now, this matters because if you are on a loop and you are thinking something that is negative or resentful, you are taking energy away from that place inside your body, and eventually you're going to deplete the energy that's there and you're going to end up with physical symptoms, and eventually it can turn into things like disease. So our thoughts are energy and they really matter. Okay, so just close your eyes right now. We're just going to do this little activity. I just want you to close your eyes and you're just going to take in a few nice deep breaths. Exhaling really slow on the way out, just so we can bring that calm down inside of our body. So as you're breathing here, think about a double inhale. So in, and then out really nice and slow. Not so slow that it becomes uncomfortable, but so slow that it's really comfortable and brings on a feeling of calm. So a nice double inhale. And then slow, slow, slow on the way out. Just breathe like that a couple of times. And then just focus on your breathing. So the sound of your breathing and the feeling of your breathing. So notice as you breathe in how it feels in your body, how your chest and your shoulders kind of expand and how they contract when you exhale. So just thinking about the movement in your body and the sound of that breath as it's moving in and out of your body. And then for the purpose of today's exercise, I want you to bring up a negative feeling. So this could be just a negative thought that you have about something, but I want you to bring up a negative feeling, maybe something that's been nagging at you, some type of negative feeling. And I want you to just really think about that thing. And I want you to begin to notice physically in your body what places inside of you perhaps become tense. Maybe they become tingly. Maybe you feel a bit of stress in these muscles or places inside of your body, but just become aware of them. Really tune in so that you can find all those places inside of you that you're feeling that. Okay, and so as you've done that, just remembering these places, but I want you to just keep breathing here, and I want you to imagine whatever energy is there in that place. Maybe it's tighter, maybe it's tenser. I want you to just imagine that with these next few breaths that you're going to take, that you can just breathe it out So you're just going to breathe some calm into that place and breathe out tension. So just a few times. You might even want to imagine this as exhaling some kind of grayish energy maybe out of your body, and just breathing in this brilliant, beautiful white calm energy into that place instead. So breathing in the calm and then exhaling just any darker energy or tension out of the body. So just, we'll give you a few seconds here to do that, a few breaths. Okay, good. And then you can just bat those eyes back open here into the room. So now, if you noticed, maybe there were several places, maybe there was only one, maybe you only felt it in your head, maybe you felt it in your chest or your arms or your hands or wherever you happen to feel it. I want you to become very aware of this. There's a really good book. I use this with my clients. It's super helpful. I'm going to tell you something cool in a sec here, but this book is called, write this down, like you're going to want this book. It's amazing. It's called The Secret Language of Your Body by Inna Segal. She's amazing. I think she's from Australia. So I use this book with my clients. Let's say somebody comes in, they've got some physical ailments going on, which would be totally normal because they're coming to me for something emotional that we're going to fix, which emotional and physical go hand in hand. So typically once we fix that emotional, then the symptoms in their body improves. But I want to know what we need to be working on in order to heal that physical thing. So I will read them off. There will be a paragraph in this book, like let's say that your one particular vertebrae is out. I will look up, L3, I don't even know which ones they go, but I'll look it up. I'll read it to them. Does this sound like you? I would say almost every single time. And I would go even further to say that it is completely accurate, but some people are unaware of themselves. And so very, very rarely, someone might say that none of it applies to them. But I'm talking that's happened one time, and this person was just kind of unaware of themselves. But typically you'll read it, and I would say, 70, 80, 90, higher percent of that paragraph, because there will be many things and it will be accurate. These are all emotional causes that are linked to that physical ailment. So, sorry, my heater just kicked in here, my air conditioner, definitely not the heater. So why does this matter? Because once we heal those emotions that are there, that are attached, that are constantly at play, that are depleting that part of your body of its energy, then when that energy is now restored to that part and you're no longer continually taking it away from that part of your body then begins to heal. So it's very important. And so our thoughts are our energy. So I'm going to show you another little quick thing here. So this I typically would do with a partner, but you can do it with yourself. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how those negative thoughts that you have about yourself also deplete your energy, not just in one particular place, but how they deplete your energy as a whole. How thinking negatively is actually depleting your energy. And it's not only about yourself. This applies to anyone. So if you were to, we'll do this experiment in a second here, but if you were to do this and you were to use this and think about somebody else instead of yourself, it would do the exact same thing. So this is why judgment, gossip, criticism, things like that, you think they're innocent. I have so many videos about this. They're not. They are not innocent, and you are going to get that coming back to you. So not only there's several things that happen if you're judgmental and critical of other people or even of the world around you generally, but there's several things that will happen to you. Your energy is going to be depleted. So this means you're not going to be as creative in a day. You're not going to be able to get as much done. You're not going to feel as happy. It's actually stealing away from your energy. So you got, let's say, this much energy. Let's say that you're using this much of it to be critical or judgmental. Okay, well now you've only got this much left to work with. You don't have the full spectrum of it anymore. So this is why, things eventually will come that you're just not feeling as good. So I'm not saying that this is just judgmental and critical of other people. It is just as bad, if not more detrimental, when you think these things about yourself, because those are constantly running. So, you might, this is just an example. You might be gossiping and being judgmental and critical of the outward world this much, but if you're being the exact same thing, critical and judgmental of this much of yourself as well, you're left with this. You're left with that to work with. And then you wonder why you're not feeling so good, why you've got no energy, why you've got no motivation, why you're depressed, why you worry about everything. It's because you're working with this. So it's so important to clear out all of this stuff, that negative stuff that we don't need. It is not helping you. There is nothing about it that is helping you, actually nothing. And it is actually stealing away your energy. And these thoughts that you're having in the day, that is your energy. These thoughts are your energy, and it is stealing that away from you. So now another thing that happens with this is that, through the law of cause and effect, Jesus called it reaping and sowing, you get what you give out. So if you are giving out this negative stuff out into the world, you're putting it out into the fabric of the consciousness, you cannot escape it. It is going to come back to you, and you're going to get more of it and more of it and more of it. And so you may believe that it is an innocent thing and that everybody does it, and so it doesn't matter. I can be judgmental and I can be critical, and I can gossip and I can do whatever it is that I want, and nothing's ever come back to me. It is coming back to you. You might not have experienced it personally in your life yet, but it comes back to you. What you send out is received back, and so therefore you are creating your reality, or you are creating your life experiences through these things that you're doing, through what it is that you're sending out, through sending and receiving back. So if you really want good things in your life, you've got to focus on it, and you maybe need to change some things. Maybe you need to let go of that critical judgmentalism and that type of thing, so that you can just be open to receive just good things back into your life. Okay, so here's the experiment. What you're going to do is you're going to take your hands, you're going to press them together really hard. So not so hard that you're hurting yourself, but press your hands together really hard so that you can feel the pressure there between your hands. Okay, and then you're just going to close your eyes, and then I want you to just think some really positive things about yourself, like, I'm awesome, I'm amazing, people really like me, I'm a really good person, I do a lot of good things in the world, I'm really great. So I just want you to notice what that feels like. Keep doing that. Keep doing the exact same thing. Okay, now I want you to switch that. Actually, these thoughts are now negative. I suck. I'm not that great. People actually don't like me. I'm a terrible person. Oh, I don't do good at anything. I'm such a failure. Okay, now just blink your eyes all the way back open. Okay, so did you notice how your energy depleted inside of your hands when you were doing that? That when you were pressing, that as soon as you started on that negative train, that it just kind of slowly drained away your energy from your body. Now imagine what this is doing to your energy systems in your body when you believe these things about yourself. So you believe that it actually doesn't matter if you're critical and judgmental of yourself. You believe that, right? It's not hurting anyone but me. It totally is. It is not only depleting your body, it is not only depleting the life that you have inside of you. Like your energy is your life. You are not only just depleting that, but it goes out and it spreads into the world around you. Now it does this because what you're sending out, you're getting back. So you are now, when you're feeling that way about yourself, not so great, you are going to have people come into your life that also don't feel so great, people that feel like you, and you might think that this is a good and wonderful thing, but it's really compounding that thing that you have about yourself, because you then begin to see it as normal and acceptable. And I know some people believe that, and I've seen this, I've heard this a lot, that, me being confident isn't helping anybody else around me. It would be selfish of me, to feel essentially good about myself. But here's the thing. When your confidence is low, when you're not feeling so good, it's really very detrimental to all of the people around you, because you have insecurities then about yourself. You don't feel so great about yourself. So you're going to see things in your reality that are not actually there. So somebody might say something to you and you're going to take it a certain way that was not how it was intended. It's not reality for them, but it's going to be 100% reality for you, and it's going to hurt like it's real. But the only reason why you're believing this and you're believing in that thing is because of how you feel about yourself. If you feel really good about yourself, if your confidence is really high, that spreads and it radiates to all the people that are there inside your life. It's going to make them feel better. It's going to make you feel better. You are going to have more energy. You're going to feel more motivated. So you're going to really go and you're going to get out there more into the world. You're going to really live your life more than you have in the past, because that low energy is being depleted. That negative energy is depleting that energy in there inside of your body, and it's not good, and eventually it's going to lead to ailments and disease and things like that. So it's so important here that we really fix our thoughts, our thinking, because belief is all that there is. So the things that you believe, I want you to just, for example, right now, I want you to believe for a second here. Sorry, now my computer's running loud. Oh, okay, sorry. I want you guys to believe, you're just going to pretend. You're just totally going to pretend here for a second. I want you to pretend that you are the most lovable person in the world. So just for a second here, I'm going to give you a minute. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to pretend that you are the most lovable person in the world, and that every person that sees you, they just look at you and they just see just such wonderful, good things about you. I just pretend. I want you to notice and see what that feels like. So just do that right now. Okay, and so let's blink your eyes back open. Okay, so how was that for you? So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you believe it's the truth or not, because it is. It is. Everything is belief. But I want you to notice how when you control your mind power, like you just did right there, how it absolutely changes the way that you feel about yourself. And it does it like that. It's immediate. So having control of your mind power is the most important thing that you can do for yourself. It is so vitally important. Having control of your mind power is the most important thing that you can do for yourself, because then the beliefs that you have that are there, that are underlying your entire life, the entire fabric of your life, those beliefs that you have in your subconscious that most people are not even aware that they have these beliefs. I will have people fill out questionnaires when they come to me. So there's an assessment on my website. They'll fill it out. Well, usually I send them a different one. I'm going to have them fill out an assessment. You can go and check it out for free. You can just fill it out and just see it's what you think about it, because it's going to make you think about yourself. So I will have people fill this out. And then when we go into it subconsciously, so when this conscious mind that you have all around you is taken away and we're just in that subconscious state, the answers will be different. The answers will be different. And the places that these things are coming from will be different than, typically different than what you would anticipate. So I have had many people, so how we just did that first experiment, if you couldn't physically feel that in your body, don't worry about it. We need to get into a deep subconscious state to become very aware of all of those feelings that we have. When I'm working with somebody, I'm talking them down, depending on the person, depending on my client. It takes 2 minutes to 20 minutes. It might even take longer than that, depending on the person. Typically, if there's not a lot of resistance and they've worked with me, we're in there in minutes. It's not going to take a lot of time if they've had a lot of experience with this. But if they're very leery, if they're, putting out a lot of resistance there, it might take some time to get them into that state where they can then feel all these things and where we can then harness those and we can follow them back. So what I do with those feelings that you very first felt, let's say that you, whatever you had brought up, you experienced maybe in your chest and your shoulders, or I don't know, your neck, wherever it happened to be, I have my clients hold on to those feelings while they're in that subconscious state, and then we follow it back to where it very first began. Now, what happens when we do this is something is going to come up. There's going to be some memory. Sometimes I got to guide them. What age were we? Let's find the root of this. But as we find the root of it, typically it will be something that you had no idea had either been done to you, or you had no idea that this thing that happened, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, however many years ago affected you the way that it did. Or you will have no conscious recollection of this thing, because I've had many people go back to their crib, even back to the womb, back to, 3 years old, like very, very young child, that we don't consciously remember these things. And so how can we heal them when we don't know why they're there and where they're coming from? So what actually happens when we have had these things for such a long time, like those examples there, is that we believe that that's who we are. We will identify with these things. We will claim it. We will say, that's my anxiety. That's my, depression or sadness, whatever it is that we happen to say, we will claim it as ours. That's who I am. That's how I've always been. I'm just that way. Or my mother was this way, so I get it from her. There will always be some excuse. But let me tell you, never, not one time when we are working with the subconscious have I regressed or taken somebody back. Regression just means we're taking you back. Never have I ever once had that happen and then had somebody tell me, oh, I'm just this way because my mother was this way, or I'm just this way because my father was that way. Never. No, it's not. That's not the case. So when they say things are genetic, they're meaning that they're genetic, but it's in a different way. They believe that it's genetic, but it's because we are seeing these patterns of our parents and our mother being unhappy or our father being unhappy, whatever it happened to be, and we're mimicking that. It's not because it's in our body and it's something that we can't change. We can absolutely change it. So I'm telling you, out of the hundreds or thousands of just sessions, never, not one time has the answer ever. Once I've regressed, had someone ever, I can't emphasize this enough, say that it was genetic, because it's not. It was an incident. It was something that happened that created this. But if you've never known any different and you have no conscious recollection of why you should be that way, then perhaps it did come from infancy, or perhaps it came from the womb, or perhaps it came from something else. Maybe it even came from a past life. I've only seen that one time in an adult that their current social anxiety had come from a past life, that I regressed them back and that's where they went. But not to say that doesn't happen more often than that, but typically, sometimes if I regress children, they might go back to a past life. That's happened before, but typically not with an adult. Sometimes we just do that for fun because people are curious and they want to know. And we will have things that have come from these past lives that are affecting us in our current life. In fact, the very first session that I ever had done for me, to me, by my friend Wendy, love her. She's the best. She's my best friend. So me and her used to exchange sessions all the time. She was the very first person to hypnotize me. She's the very first person to tell me, hey, you have to do this. I was taking my hypnotherapy and I just kept thinking, you need to take this, you need to take this, you need to take this. At the time I was like, that's weird. What is it? I don't even know. I thought it was some kind of crazy witchcraft. Of course it's not. Now that I'm educated, people who believe that are just not educated about it. once I realized what a healing and wonderful and amazing thing that this was, oh man, everybody needs to learn how to do what I do so that they can help other people. This is what needs to be the norm over any other thing of helping people. Like if you sit there and you go to a counselor and you're talking to them back and forth in a room, how many sessions, how many months, how many years is it going to take you to accomplish what you need? Freaking who knows? It's endless. If you can't find that root and heal that subconscious root, it's not going to change. You might get coping mechanisms like, okay, well now when this thing happens, I take, 7 deep breaths and I count to this and I do this and that. That's not what we do. That's not what I do. We don't have the symptoms because we heal the root. So this is what people need to be practicing, is subconscious healing. This needs to be the norm. This needs to be the number one, subconscious healing, because it's what actually does it, and it does it rapidly. It's scientifically proven to be the fastest method to change those neural pathways in your brain. So because science is telling us this, why are we not doing this? Why is this not the mainstream? Why is this not a mandatory thing if you happen to be a counselor or social worker or a psychologist or whatever you happen to be doing, psychoanalysis, whatever it is that you happen to be doing? If people added in the subconscious work and they were really good at it and they knew how to get to the root and they knew how to heal it, it would transform things in our world so quickly, just so rapidly, so effectively. And, so I've had several friends who have done counseling and done things like that, and they say that they're so depleted at the end of the day because they are dealing with some heavy stuff. And a lot of the times what they're dealing with are people who are unwilling to leave the environment that they're in. So they're just talking them through it, trying to get them through it, but they know nothing's going to change for these people. But that's not how it works when I do it. So it's not a draining or exhausting job. People can tell me every and anything that they've never told anyone else before in their life, and they get it off their chest. And as we work through these things and we heal this stuff, then at the end they feel better. So I'm helping people to feel better. They're not leaving and feeling worse. They're not leaving and now got a million other things to stew about. They're leaving and they're actually finding relief and finding more satisfaction with the life that they're living because they're finding this relief, and it's all because it's subconscious healing. It's all because it's subconscious. So, kind of as we began here today, our thoughts are our energy. Everything is belief. When you change these beliefs that are there, that are constantly running in the background that we're not even aware of, like I said, go to my assessment and you can see, where am I sitting on this chart? Am I dealing with frustration or anger or, sadness or depression or anxiety or whatever it happens to be constantly all day? Where am I at on this chart? What is that doing to you? So find those feelings that you've got inside of you, and what is that doing to your physical body? What is that doing to that energy store that you have? How much are you working with at the end of the day? That's why the motivation and all that stuff is just depleted when you've got so much going on in your mind and your thinking. Consciousness it's all that there is. Consciousness is all that there is. It's our belief, because as we did that little experiment before, what you're thinking about creates an immediate change in the way that you feel. So when you can harness that mind power and you can gain control of your mind power, then you get to determine how it is that you feel. And things might be going on in your environment. Maybe you're going to have to change environments. Maybe that's going to have to happen. But you're not going to get to that place of finding value and realize in yourself and realizing, maybe I do need to leave my environment. Maybe I do need to make these steps. We make all these excuses. We tell ourselves that we're stuck in these things, and we're never stuck. We always have a choice. That's why we have our free will. But if we feel like we're stuck, where are you feeling that feeling in your body? What is it telling you? You might honestly, truly believe. I honestly, truly believed that I was stuck, and I do feel like I was for a little bit. I needed to deal with some stuff until I could get myself unstuck. But it all came from here. It all came from my thinking. It all came from the energy. My thoughts are my energy. It all came from mind power. And when you deal with that, then it changes things. So, lesson for today. Let go of the criticism and the judgment and the gossip. Let go of it towards other people, but let go of it towards yourself, because it really matters, because it's actually affecting your physical body. It's affecting the energy. It's affecting the motivation. It's affecting every single area of your life. If you're not working with all your energy and you're spending however much of it on this or that, and you've only got this much to work with, it's affecting every single area of your life. So it really, really matters. Gaining that control of your mind power, it really matters. So that is the talk for today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for liking and supporting and commenting, helping my channel to grow. I see that it's been growing, and I just love that. I love you guys. I hope that you love the work that I'm doing. And just comment below. It helps my page to grow. If you like it, it helps other people to see me. It boosts my posts in the algorithm there. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you don't like posts and you're watching them, then YouTube thinks, oh, this person doesn't actually like this. And so then they don't boost it up for other people to do. So the best way that you can show support to any channel that you actually like is just by liking and by commenting. And that is why everyone asks you to do that when you watch their channel. And don't forget to subscribe. So anyways, I love you guys. I hope you have the most wonderful day today. Sorry, my heater kept kicking in. I'm going to have to fix that up, but I love you all, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for sticking around with me today.